All right, so it's got a 16.5-inch cutting swath. This is actually not the original head that the weed eater comes with. This is like Still's speed feed version, if you're familiar with the speed feed heads, which I can do a separate video comparing the two. It does have a loop handle that's adjustable. With these two screws here, you can move it up or down. Push button stop and a trigger throttle. Also this throttle lock wheel. So when it's all the way up, you can see the plus and minus signs there. When it's all the way turned up, you're gonna get full throttle. If you have it turned down, you only get a little bit of throttle. Here you got your primer bulb. Back here is your choke, and you can check your fuel level through this little sight glass here. Now this weed eater is also pretty lightweight for the power that it has. It's got a 24.1 cc engine and holds 18.3 ounces of fuel. To change the air filter, you would just take out that little torque screw right there, right under this house. All of the throttle cables, spark plug, any wiring, it's all enclosed and protected. All right, so now let's go over some of the things that I like about this weed eater. The thing I like the most about this weed eater is probably the weight and how well balanced it is. I mean, picking it up with one hand, you know, it just sets level. It doesn't want to tilt back or tilt forward. You can just easily carry it with one hand. Another thing I like is this push button stop here. Some of the other weed eaters, they would have an actual switch that you switch on or off. Now when you flip that switch off, the next time you go to use it and you go to start it, you might be pulling it several times and it's not starting. And then you realize, well, you have the switch in the off position. And that's why I like the push button stop. When you're ready to kill it, you just hit it, it's off, and it's ready to be started again. There's no switch. You don't have to do anything to switch it back on. You can just start it up when you're ready. I like a nice rubber grip. It's a little bit padded, and it's not too bulky. Some of the other weed eaters, they can be a little bit bulky. This one's got a nice feel to it. And I really like this trigger throttle here. It just, to me, that's comfortable. I like the shape of this loop handle, because if you turn the weed eater different ways, you can still grab it easy. I also like this choke. In some of the other weed eaters, there will be a switch here where you put it in the choke position or run. So when you choke it, you flip the switch up, you'll start it, and then you have to turn the choke off. Whereas this, you put it in the choke position. See, now it's switched up. And once you start it, and as soon as you pull the throttle there, it's automatically in the run position, and you don't have to worry about switching that. Let me start it up and I can show you the starting procedure and how this throttle lock works. So we're just gonna choke it. You kind of push it in and turn it. You're gonna prime it a few times. I haven't started it in a couple days. See if I can do this with one hand here. Now it's choked. As soon as you hit that throttle, now it's out of the choke position. All right, so let me show you this throttle wheel here and how it works. Right now, it's all the way turned up, so I have full throttle. Now if you turn it down, see, you can tell the RPMs there, they didn't get past a certain point because it won't allow the throttle to go any higher. But if you pull the trigger really hard, you can tell it's locked right there. I don't know if you could tell what I was doing there, but if you have the throttle locked at a certain point to where it's only at a low RPM, you can still pull the trigger all the way through to get full throttle if you need it. And then once you release it, it's right back to where you had it locked. While this weed eater has plenty of power, it's not the most powerful weed eater. But with that being said, it'll still handle some tall, thick grass, which I'll put in a clip here for you to see. So now that we've covered some of the things that I really like about this weed eater, let's go over some of the things that I feel could be a little bit different. All right, so the cutting swath, I mean, and this is with the guard on. A lot of people are gonna take this guard off just to have a bigger cutting swath. If you do that, it's not really gonna matter. If you leave the guard on, the 16.5 cutting swath is a little bit smaller than some of the other brands. Some of the other brands are 17 inch, and that's only a 1/2 inch difference, but it is a little bit smaller. That's not a huge deal though at all. All right, this loop handle, I do like the shape of it. What I don't like about it is it's plastic. So, you know, if it was rubberized, that'd be a lot better, because once you start using this for a while, and if your hand starts sweating, then you kind of lose your grip. And then it kind of slips in your hand a little bit, especially if you're flipping it around or turning it to edge with it or get into tight places. It's easy, when your hand starts sweating, it's easy to lose your grip on that. All right, another thing it's not a huge deal, but you have your sight glass here to see your fuel. Now you can see your fuel, see if you can see it in there or not. Yeah, you see, you should be able to see it sloshing around in there a little bit. Man, it is really hot out here. It's been really hot here lately. It's been a pretty hot summer so far. So what I don't like about the sight glass window in the fuel tank is it just makes it a little bit more difficult to see your fuel. Some of the other weed eaters, the entire tank is translucent, so meaning you could just see through it. To whereas here you got a little sight glass where you can see through. If you're looking at it right here from the back, you can't tell. If it's upside down, you can't tell. The weed eaters that have the entire fuel tank translucent, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have the weed eater upside down, right side up, if you're behind it, in front of it. You could literally set the weed eater across the yard, and you could look over and you could see if you have fuel in it or not. Now, while that's not a huge issue, I mean, you can check your fuel just fine, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot easier. I mean, if the whole fuel tank was translucent, it just makes it a lot easier to check your fuel. This weed eater has plenty of power for maintaining lawns, and it's been really reliable the past going on 5 months that I've been using it. It usually starts first pull, sometimes second or third pull, but most of the time it fires right up. Man, I'm sweating my ass off. So, should you spend $350 on this weed eater? Well, if you're a homeowner and you have a really small yard and you don't do a lot of weed eating, you know, very little weed eating, you probably don't need this weed eater, although it would be good. If you have a lawn business and you're doing a lot of maintained lawns, this is a great option because it's so lightweight for the amount of power it has. It's easy to carry around all day, and it's easy to maneuver. And if you have the occasional tall, thick yard that you need to get back in shape, it's gonna be able to handle it. If you're looking for a weed eater to handle a bunch of tall, thick grass all the time, kind of like this stuff right here, yes, it's gonna handle it, but you're probably gonna want something with a little bit more power because it's just gonna take you a lot longer to do it. Whereas if you had maybe like the 111 or the 131R from Stihl, that's gonna handle it a lot quicker and a lot easier. Well guys, I hope that gives you some insight on the FS94R. Comment down below, let me know what you think about it. Let me know what weed eater you use. Also, if there's any other Stihl products, weed eaters, blowers, edgers, whatever, that you would like to see tested out, comment down below and let me know. All right guys, have a good one. I'll see you on the next one.